Rally de France Tour de Course. This is Corsica, rally not for the faint-hearted. The Mediterranean island's mountainous nature sees cliff faces and sheer drops, sandwiched twisty, tight tarmac roads. Add a bit of adverse weather conditions into the mix, Corsica becomes one of the WRC's trickiest events. Last weekend saw Sebastian Loeb put in a near-perfect performance to take his 9th win of the season in Spain, and it would be a brave man to bet against the Citroën driver this weekend. He's won here for the last 3 years.
Last week it was for sure a perfect rally for me. I hope it will be the same here again, but I'm sure that some other drivers like Duval, maybe Miko will be more in the battle immediately. I think they took a bit of time in Spain to get in the rhythm and to find the good setting with the tire and everything, but now they will be ready immediately, and so maybe it can be more difficult for me from the start.
The man who needs to get as close to Loeb as possible is Mikko Hirvonen. Spain was a disappointment for both him and the Ford team. They have to find the magic ingredient this weekend if they're to get the better of their French rivals and keep their championship dreams alive.
It looks very, very difficult at the moment, and Sebastian has such a good lead already that even though if I win all the rallies now, he can just take it steady and be second and third, and even that's going to be enough for him for the championship. So he needs to have a bad luck so that I can get into the fight again.
Also in Hirvonen's way is Danny Sordo. He is chomping at the bit for his first time win. Second place after a great performance on his home event, keeping the Spaniards' confidence sky high. And don't forget Francois Duval. A careful switch of positions on the final stages of Spain meant the Belgian was asked to relinquish third for his teammate. He prefers these tight and twisty stages and will be hoping to put some pressure on the Citroëns from the off. Confirmation then of Loeb's 12-point lead in the Drivers' Championship. If he beats Mikko by 8 points here, then the championship will be his once more. In the manufacturers, Citroën's third maximum in a row means they now have a 27-point advantage over Ford. The Blue Oval needs something special if they're to turn this around. Coming up, this is one of the twistiest rallies in the championship. We talked to the drivers about how they process all the information relayed to them by the co-drivers. This event is also one of the most mentally exhausting events in the calendar. We look at how the drivers cope with the long, winding stages and how the teams try to keep them in the best possible condition. Plus, the smallest mistake here in Corsica is normally costly. We'll look back at some of the biggest smashes in recent years. Back in Ajaccio, the rally gets underway officially with the start ramp. And this time, it's Sebastian Loeb's turn to make the most of the home support. The Tour de Course is once again based in the port of Ajaccio on the west coast of the island. In all, there are 16 stages and 359 competitive kilometres. Here's Danny Sordo's co-driver Mark Martin to take us through what we can expect to see on the opening day.
Rally Tour de Course 2008, leg 1 is 120 kilometers, 3 stages, repeat in the afternoon. And stage number 1-4 is for me one of the most difficult of the rally because the stages are very fast and all the corners are hidden all the time over the crest. For me, this stage will be the key of leg 1.
So Loeb heads to the start of the first stage, knowing there's an outside chance that a record-breaking 5th consecutive world title could be his.
Et droite 120 pas corde. Sur gauchy, sur double attention, droite 140 moins long.
History tells us though that the roads around Ajaccio should never be underestimated. Very narrow, twisty roads here, but still very quick. It's classic Tour de Course action, with Loeb flashing past the small village at a terrifying speed.
Gauchy, sur droite 130 plus long pas corde. Et gauche 130 plus court en ciel.
Hirvonen's championship hopes may be dwindling, but they're certainly not over yet. We can guarantee that while his hopes are still alive, Ford's number 1 will keep on fighting. On cold tyres, it's going to be extremely slippery out there, and as Mikko found out at his cost here last year, when he clipped a wall and retired, there is very little margin for error. Further back in the stage is Citroen's Danny Sordo. The Spaniard's impressive consistency recently has helped Citroen to lock out the top 2 places in the last 3 rallies, allowing them to pull away from Ford in the manufacturer's title race. Last one is appearing with the Works Ford team for the 2nd time after coming 4th in Spain. Look at the constant cornering from Duval here. Very few straights for the crews to relax on in Corsica. This is still one of the Belgians' favourite events, but he's never had the best of luck here, having retired 6 out of the 7 times he's entered. Nears the end of the stage, and we know that once again he's ahead in the split times. This looks like another impressive start to the rally as he casts aside all challengers.
I don't like so much this stage. It's very tricky, but I had a good drive, so I'm still happy at the moment.
Loeb not enjoying that stage, so maybe a glimmer of hope for the rest. It was still an impressive benchmark, and Givenen's the first with a daunting task to match the world champion's time. He's going to be slower. 4 seconds down on stage 1. That's an improvement on Spain at least.
Very good start, at least I have the speed I finished Spain, but now I just need to improve. Let's see if I can do that.
Sordo has said he'd love to be loaded on French soil, but his first concern will be to keep ahead of Gievenen. Blisteringly quick section towards the finished boards here. He's slower than Loeb too, and also half a second down on Gievenen. Danny would have hoped for better there on stage 1. Gievenen making a strong start on the opening stage, finally separating the 2 Citroens, with Duval in 4th, 7.3 seconds off early leader Loeb's pace. Lapp was in 5th, just ahead of the 2 Subarus. The Tour de Force Rally de France is otherwise known as the Rally of 10,000 corners. The sinuous mountain stages bombard the crews with a relentless onslaught of corners. The co-driver has to deliver his pace notes with pinpoint precision, setting the rhythm for the
The co-driver has to be very quick here, fast and be sharp.
Here would be the busiest tarmac rally. Lots and lots of pace, hardly a straight between the corners, so lots of information to get out in a short space of time.
The notes are really important here, you know, it's like non-stop, and it's hard for a co-driver as well because they're reading just corner after corner, there's no break. I think longest straight we have is 200 metres.
The co-driver's talking all the time, but he's still varying the speed of how he's talking to the nature of the stages.
And the nature of the Corsican stages dictates that the timing of the delivery of the information from co-driver to driver is critical.
For me, it's important to be able to see in my head how will be the corner.
You sort of judge the speed that you're going at, the severity of the corner, and everything else, and it just comes from years and years of experience.
The driver needs time to process the information. Bill Mills pulls at least 1 corner ahead.
And line into 6 right over crest.
The 6 right over crest that Bill has just called is the next corner. This gives Petter time to prepare in advance. As he approaches this corner, Bill is already preparing Petter for the next. It's not just the timing of the notes, but also the detail and the description of the corner.
It's direction, then speed of the corner, what I can do, then if it tightens, so is it long or short corner. Sometimes I use note if it opens again. If I cut in a corner, if there's a rock or gravel in the corner.
If one of those details is missing, the consequences are severe.
On our recce I set tighten on my notes. Then when we were checking the notes later on, we just wiped the tightens away from my notes. So in a rally it wasn't there, and it was clearly there was no way I could make it, so I went straight to the wall.
You have to make a combination between the notes, between what you want to do with the car, and to analyze the road to estimate the grip you will have, and then you enter in the corner. So for sure it takes all your concentration.
So many corners being able to call on memory as well as pace notes to give a clear advantage over your rivals.
In Corsica, where there's so many corners, it's impossible to remember the stages. Then the notes, you are driving more with the notes, and it's very important to get everything right.
You can't drive in this rally with the memory, you have to rely on your nose.
I have a good memory, maybe it helps, yeah, for sure. I'm much more confident when I know where I'm going than if I'm driving only with the notes. So maybe memory plays in this, yeah.
Back to the action, and the next two stages include the second longest of the weekend, the 27 kilometres of Arbolara, and the pace notes will be coming thick and fast. Danny Sordo was beaten by Hirvonen in the opening test, but he's quick to fight back. He's almost 3 seconds quicker than Nico in stage 2, moving him into second. He's flat out again here in Arbolara. Mark Marty busy feeding him information about the many upcoming corners. Oh no! He's lost it under braking and comes very close to rolling the car. He slammed it into the bank, and Danny and Mark Marty are straight out to assess the damage. They don't even attempt to try and drive the C4. Looking at it from inside the car, you get a better idea of the force involved. And looking at Danny's view again, he completely overcuts it into the right-hander, and with the grip not there to make the turn, it's game over. Using virtual spectator, you can see how he's misjudged his braking point coming into the corner. The red line shows when the cars are braking, and you can see Danny brakes 18 metres later than Loeb. Incredibly, that equates to less than half a second, but the consequences are catastrophic. Once he missed his braking, the skid marks show there's nothing he could have done. Danny out for the rest of the day.
Mark, it's only 700 metres into stage 3. We've just seen Danny being picked up by the helicopter. What exactly happened?
It was on the braking for this right corner, and it was a little bit bumpy, and we lose the braking, and we hit on the front left wheel.
Drama early on in Corsica then. A lot of surface changes early on in stage 3. It's making for a lively start to this long test. Latvala is attacking hard. A bit of a wobble for Jari Matti there. Amazing car control from the Finn. He did well to save that. And the solo begins. Arbolara just 1 second behind the Finn, with his rival looking a bit ragged. He could make some inroads here.
It's a 6-6 left plus. Arblong, keep in.
Oh, but he too has a massive moment. The opening sector of this demanding stretch of road, proving a very tough challenge.
Don't cut 2 minus.
You can see by looking again at Solberg inside the car just how big a moment that was. Full opposite lock to recover the slide. That was driving absolutely flat out. Amazing reactions from Petter. Britain's Matty Wilson has just moved into the points after stage 2.
3 plus in. Max left. 30, keep right.
Oh, but he becomes the 4th driver to have a moment. Wilson's Ford Focus sustaining heavy damage with that impact, and he slips down to 13. What a stage to finish the morning then. Loeb remains out front, but with his teammate out, Hirvonen and Duval are now sitting in the final podium places. A fine time for Solberg propels him from 7th to 4th. Back at service, Sordo is coming to terms with his frustrating exit.
Danny, tell me what happened on stage 3.
We had make a mistake in the first kilometer of the start 3, and I brake too late at the end of the zone, very fast zone, and I braked too late and I blocked the wells, and I hit a stunt in the corner. No.
At the moment, for us, it's going well. 3 best times on the 3 first stages, so it's a perfect start for me. For sure, for Danny, it's he went off, but that happens. We are pushing really hard, and I think Miko and François are doing the same also, and so it can happen.
Miko, a much better start this morning, but still 14 seconds.
Still 14 seconds, yeah, but it was a good start. I'm quite pleased how it went, so just need to see if I can find even more speed now and push Sebastian a little bit, but that's going to be very difficult.
Francois, this is one of your favourite events, but not the best start this morning.
No, but the road is really dirty this morning. I lost some too many seconds on the first one, but now for the second loops, the road is the same for everybody. Now pushing more.
Sordo has shown already that the smallest mistake can cost you everything in this rally. Sebastian Loeb leading the way with an advantage of more than 20 seconds over his championship rival Mikko Hirvonen. As was the case in Spain, Loeb has shown a clean pair of heels to the rest of the field from the off. It's a regular tactic for the Frenchman to beat his rivals into submission early, setting some stunning times from the word go to underline his superiority on this surface. We heard earlier that he actually has a good memory of many of the stages too, which will give him a further advantage. This is the second run through the stage, and there are some dirty roads out there this afternoon. It's very slippery in places. With Sordo crashing out then, how will it affect Mikko Hirvonen's approach to the rest of the rally? He's shown little signs so far of being able to match Loeb's pace with Citroen's number 2 up, but also on course to make some inroads into their rivals' advantage in the Manufacturers' Championship. To do that though, both Mikko and Yval need to maintain these positions. So he's been able to close on Loeb in stage 4, it doesn't look good.
7 ja maali, lyhyt oikein nopea tiukka yli nyky.
Another 6.1 seconds lost. More frustration from Mikko.
Six seconds. Well,
he's amazing, isn't he?
I can go a lot faster. At least I start to take massive risks. So, yeah, he's pretty fast.
Back with Duval now, and a chance to assess his efforts against that of his teammates. Squealing and beginning 2.2 seconds behind Hirvonen. If he can beat that target time, second place will be his.
Pour 25, tenir gauche pour droite, 80 ferme fort, pas corde et pas extérieur.
No, he's slower again. He's now just under 3 seconds behind Mikko.
120 l'arrivée. Le gauche, ouais.
He, like Hirvonen, is once again pretty stunned by Loeb's time. No change in the top 3 then after stage 4. Loeb's lead up to 20.5 seconds, with Duval now 2.9 seconds behind Hirvonen. No Danny Sordo in the top 3, of course. We've already seen the Spaniard's dramatic exit, and the Citroen driver is in good company. Over the years, some of the world's greatest rally drivers have been caught out by these treacherous roads. The Tour de Course has gone down in rally folklore as a fearsome event. It's the nature of the terrain on the Mediterranean island that plays a large part in why it's become known as a rally for the brave. With cliff faces to one side and huge drops on the other, it's not a place for a small incident, as many greats have found out. Colin McRae may have won this event twice, but a huge off in 2000 cemented his name in Corsican history. One of the biggest crashes of his career, McRae was trapped in the car for a long time before emergency crews could release him. McRae's terrifying experience didn't deter him from his maximum attack approach, however. And 2 years later, the treacherous corners of the Tour de Course would bite again. McRae escaped with just a broken finger. The Corsican rally also hasn't seen the best of luck for Tommy Mäkinen. In 1997, he hit a cow. The impact sent his Mitsubishi down a ravine, luckily without injury to driver or co-driver. The 2000 Corsican rally would be an embarrassing event for Mitsubishi, but once again, Tommy ended up in the ravine. That wasn't the embarrassing bit. His teammate Freddie Leutsch was already down the same ravine and had gone off in the previous running of the stage. A year later, and Mäkinen would again come to blows in Corsica. This time, instead of the ravine, it was the cliffside. Data would show that the car lost over 70 kilometres an hour on impact with that cliff. Tommy's co-driver Risto Manisamaki had to be hospitalised. In 2003, De Solberg didn't even make it through shakedown. But he didn't let that little incident hold him back. The senior mechanics worked all night to ensure his car was roadworthy, and miraculously the Norwegian went on to win the event. 2003 was also the year that Marco Martin had his very own foray into the Corsican undergrowth. But he definitely wanted to listen. To win the event in 2004, he was the last driver to beat Sebastian Loeb here. Before we rejoin the battles at the front, a quick roundup of the runners further back. Citroen privateer Ermo Ava has had a frustrating start to his run in Corsica. He damaged his front left damper in stage 1, and after making repairs in the road section, he was late into stage 2, incurring a 1-minute time penalty, which 17. Andreas Mikkelsen had an even more frustrating start. In a bizarre incident, the Norwegian checked into the opening stage 8 minutes late after getting distracted watching the early runners. Handed a minute and 20 seconds in penalties, Andreas was way down in 45th. Tony Gardemeister is driving this weekend with a heavy cold, but despite his weak condition, it's been a strong display from the experienced Finn. He's keeping Suzuki represented in the point-scoring places in 7th. After finishing in 10th on his debut in a World Rally car in Spain, Brice Ravazzi is on course to finish even higher in his home event, running at the bottom end of the top 8. Henning Solberg is another to suffer on these Corsican roads, a puncture on stage 6, forcing him to stop to change the tyre. To make matters worse, the car fell off the jack, losing the pair even more time. He lost a massive 4 minutes and was overtaken by Matthew Wilson at the stage. There's a three-way battle for 4th in the last 3 stages of the day, going into stage 4, but the Solberg pole position ahead of Latvala and Atkinson. But impressive times from both saw them past the Norwegian, knocking him down to 6th. Chris Atkinson is just 7/10 of a second behind Latvala, with Petter still very much in touch, 4.3 behind the 5th. On stage 5 though, Solberg makes another charge, 4th fastest on stage, the Norwegian beating both his rivals. Atkinson also closes the gap to Latvala to just 1/10 of a second. And on the second run through the 27-kilometre Arbolara stage, another stunning effort from Petter, who beats both his teammate and Latvala to storm up from 6th to 4th. But out front and in a league of his own is Sebastian Loeb. The Frenchman wins every stage on the opening day to give himself a comfortable lead. Confirmation of Loeb's impressive advantage after an interesting opening day here in Corsica. Right before this set to continue, less than 4 seconds separating Solberg, Latvala and Atkinson. Sordo C4 has made it back to service, but it looks like the Spaniard will not be super rallying.
We just get the car back, and we see with the marshals from the FIA, and we understood that the car is not going on anymore. It's the roll bar will move a little bit, and for us it can do, but they said they won't, so we have to do what they said. So the car will stay here tomorrow.
So low leads, but there are still battles to be decided. Nico Kivling is slapping with you down for second. That's why the Solberg was trying to fend off Atkinson. The second day of the Rally de France, where the peaceful island of Corsica is about to be woken up by the sound of 300 brake horsepower machines thundering through the mountain villages as the crews prepare to return to action. There are 6 stages today to the north of Ajaccio, with the 3 morning speed tests repeated in the afternoon. These are classic Tour de Course stages on barren roads and constant cornering. 2 of the stages are over 20 kilometres long. Stages 9 and 12 for 14-kilometre Aprigiani has not been used since 2003. That's a unknown quantity for most of the drivers. Back out to the hills above Ajaccio then, and rally leader Sebastian Loeb is waiting on the start line to resume his devastating demolition of all comers. Begins the second day with an advantage of over half a minute, and there seems little chance of his closest rivals catching the world champion unless he hits an unexpected problem. Seb is as impressive as ever through this tight, twisty early section of this 22-kilometre stage. Nico Hirvonen, meanwhile, seemed almost resigned to his fate on day 1, as though he extended his lead with every passing stage.
Pitkä oikein hidas tiukka käännä.
Mikko's main focus for now will be to stay ahead of his teammate François Duval. Lots of surface changes in this opening stage, with some sections of abrasive broken tarmac. It's incredibly bumpy and slippery at high speed. And with Duval now, the Belgian seems in top form as he seeks to remind Hirvonen who is the tarmac expert.
Ferme 60 à frein sur long droite 40, ferme pas corde et pas extérieur. Pour gauche 70 à fort léger cordon en frein. Pour long gauche 40 tenir pas corde.
No matter what the Ford men come up with, though, there again seems nothing they can do to close up on the driver from Alsace has again dominated the early split times, and looking at his telemetry, you get an idea how hard the drivers have to concentrate. Constant gear changes, working the brakes very hard. Processing all the detail in those pace notes.
Attention, 226 plus ferme 120 moins. De droite à fond et attention. Gauche 140 pour donc pas corde. Sur attention, droite 147 plus ferme 110 puis donc pas corde.
With Duval now, the Belgian was just 1.7 seconds behind his teammate Kievan, going into this stage. He could snatch second here. Really no sign of backing off. If he beats that target time, second will be his. He does it. Duval edges past Kievan by 4/10 of a second. Changes near the top of the leaderboard then, and there is still a three-way battle for fourth to be decided. Peter Solberg begins the day holding the position, but there is just under 4 seconds separating the Norwegian Rally Mathieu
extra long tightens Donker, 3 plus narrow.
Incredible view
up
from
long
the front
20.
of Petters and Pretzer there.
Going to 6 left up long, tightens 5 up long.
Chris Atkinson is still very much in the mix. The Australian has a chance to secure a top 3 finish in the Drivers' Championship, so every point counts at this late stage of the season. An overnight setup tweak hasn't worked for Chris though, and he can't match his teammates' time, but he does edge closer to Latvala in this stage. So after stage 7, Kievan and Duval have swapped places, and the battle for fourth is still tight. Petter 4.9 seconds ahead of Latvala, who's just 1.5 ahead of Atkinson. But there's no change up front. Loeb now almost 37 seconds ahead. Successfully navigating the never-ending tight twists and turns here in Corsica requires unblinking, intense concentration. The slightest error here will end in disaster. In the modern era, WRC drivers are physically fit, so mental exhaustion is the toughest battle they face here.
You definitely need more concentration on this rally. I mean, there's so much notes and information coming all the time, and you really need to work hard with the car as well. So yeah, it's definitely tougher than anything else.
To help the drivers with their concentration, the team's nutritionists plan out a detailed daily food and drink intake to give the driver optimum energy throughout the day.
Typically we're looking at about 2,500, 3,000 calories. You're looking small and regular. Example of breakfast, egg on toast, good protein, good energy, nice and light on the stomach. Coming through to lunch, you'd be looking at some lean meats like chicken, a bit of pasta. Then moving on through to the dinner, we're looking again at a lean protein, essential for repair of tissues and just good energy source again. Good fruit, good vegetables, keep that energy going for the next day.
All the WRC teams travelled directly here from the last round in Spain, straight into the recce. They're no doubt feeling it a little.
On every long stage you can feel it, but we should be fit enough to cope with all these stages and long days. And now we had two rallies in one go now in 14 days, so it's more about trying to get as much rest as you can.
It's the most intense in terms of probably you'll see the highest heart rate because there's so much coming at you all the time. You're trying to take it all in, and it all happens really quickly. So your brain's working fast, and in turn the adrenaline's probably quite high.
The crews are moving on to stage 8 for another adrenaline-filled blast on the Corsican asphalt. Local star Sebastian Loeb leads the way, followed by the 2 Works Fords. Mikko Kievanen has just been passed by his teammate Francois Duval on the morning's opening stage. With just 4/10 of a second separating the pair, he has a good chance at taking back that second place at the first time of asking. The constant cornering again testing his focus and concentration to the maximum.
Oikea serpo takaviisto. Nyt oikein K7. Vasen hidas.
Mikko betters that target. He'll move
Oikein
back
hidas,
ahead.
tiukka, Kira vähän. Ja pitkä vasen tosi hidas, mene, Kira vähän.
Yes, second is his once again. He's now ahead by 4 seconds. Chris Atkinson, meanwhile, lost time to his teammate after stage 8.
8 left 30, tighten 7 minus extra long, rock opens.
We drive the finish.
And on stage 9, there's more bad news for the Australian. He picks up a puncture early in the test, and it's a disaster for his hopes of staying in the fight for fourth. Looking at virtual spectator, you can see how tight it was between the three drivers in this battle, but watch what happens as Atkinson's slow puncture kicks in. Struggling to keep the car on the road, his speed immediately tails off, and he falls away from his two rivals. Well over a minute is lost. That makes it a two-horse race for fourth then, and Lapala was only 7/10 of a second behind Solberg coming into this test. The time at the bottom of your screen is Lapala's target to get back into fourth. I think he's going to do it. Yes, another terrific drive from the 23-year-old. He's now ahead of Petter by 2.6 seconds. Loeb untroubled out the front, but plenty of jockeying for position behind. Kivinen is back up to second, and Lapala makes it Preforge chasing the world champion with his move to fourth. Further back, Suzuki's Tony Gardemeister is back up to eighth. The cars have to travel on normal roads, battling their way through the traffic like everyone else on the way back to service in the port of Ajaccio, where Jari-Matti Lapala and Petter Solberg are contemplating tactics for the second run through the stages.
Petter, a steady pace from you this morning, but you have lost that fourth position.
Yeah, I have, and we tried something different with the car, and we thought it should be a little bit better, and it was in some areas, but it was worse in that area we are working with. So we just have to go back now and try the other way.
Yeah, it is a good battle. Atkinson was very close to battle as well, but he got some problems in stage 9 and lost some time. But yeah, still we have a good battle with Petter going on. So it's interesting afternoon coming up.
So after the disappointment of that puncture, Chris Atkinson will go flat out in the next stage, desperate to make up time. He's agreed to wear a heart rate monitor so we can evaluate exactly how demanding the twisty mountain stages are here in Corsica. As the fans up on the stage finish off their lunch, Chris is on the road section, and his heart rate is a rather sedate average of 82 beats per minute. Back into action on stage 2, and remember, the co-driver is calling at least one corner ahead, so Chris can process the information. As we join them in one of the fastest sections of this daunting stage, just look at the increase to his heart rate.
Opens, then cut 6 right very long, then 7 left long, then 7 right and tightens 5 plus in, and hug 6 left line very long opens, and 6 right opens wide brake 40, tightens 5 minus in, and cut 4 left very long, mid 5 right plus opens flat long and sharp left,
quick wipe of the brow, the only sign of discomfort, but Atkinson's heart rate peaking at 149 beats per minute. Chris is one of the fittest drivers, but even he has to work hard on these demanding stages.
Then flat crest, 50, late 5 right plus
finished
long.
Though, Chris is as relaxed as ever.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good works. Still working hard. I got my heart rate monitor on. It's saying 114 at the moment, so 111. It's going down. You guys are relaxing me.
With Atkinson now out of the intense battle for fourth, Lapala and Solberg won't be relaxed as they head to stage 10. Remember, they're both out on stage at the same time, so we can select 2 split markers to compare their times. Looking at them head-to-head, after 181 kilometres, their average speeds are almost identical. Lapala has wrestled fourth from the 2003 world champion, but only leads by 2.6 seconds. On the start line, he'll be desperate to push the field as far as he can. The Norwegian relishing it.
Plus half long to run, 3 left plus half long tightens, and 3 right plus half long tightens a bit. Early 6 left half long opens to early 6 right minus, 6 left minus, 6 right to crest opens 15, 6 left 30 lines to 2 right half long, tightens 1 plus.
Petter is on a charge as Jari-Matti prepares to launch into the stage. The young Phil will be desperate to open up his lead over Solberg to put to fourth. He can draw it.
Jatkuhenkeä 5 älä. Heti vasen 3. Jatkuhenkeä 2. Heti vasen 2 miinus urat älä.
Petter has gone through the first split at 5.7 kilometres. That is fast approaching, so we have our first opportunity to compare them.
Jatkuu lyhyttäisen 3, oikein Vitkiraa, lopuksi jatkuu oikein 7.
So important here.
Jatkuu 4, älä.
And yes,
heti
he's
oikein
opened up his
2,
lead
5
by
äkkiä, älä.
2.1 seconds.
20 lyhyt oikein 3, heti vasen 5, älä. Heti risteys oikein 7, aukeaa yli nypy. Heti vasen 30. Pahan soppuvasen 4 yli nypy, Kiraa 8 äkkiä. Heti oikein 5.
Phil Mills will have been fed Lappala's split time by his team from the service car. They have to incorporate the need to push a little harder into the timing of the delivery of his pace notes.
Repeating 6 left opens 100.
He's approaching the second split we have selected at 19.1 kilometres. Rest assured he'll be pushing his Impreza to its absolute limits to close in on the young Phil.
3 right plus keep in, don't cut. 6 left minus, 6 right minus, neat.
Back to Jari-Matti. Again, you can see the concentration levels required as he processes the calls from the co-driver. Jari-Matti's heart rate will be as high as we saw with Atkinson. Here he is coming to the split marker. And he's taken even more time from Petter.
160, vasen 7 mennessä uralla.
Back on board with Lappala as he nears the finish line. He continues at the pace he had through the splits. He'll have opened up the gap to Petter in 5th. Yes, another strong stage for Jari-Matti. He beats Petter by 3.5 seconds to further extend his advantage.
I'm surprised that it was a quite good time. I cannot understand how we did that good time, but obviously we did a better job now this morning. Now afternoon what we did in the morning.
No changes in the top 8 after stage 10. Loeb's lead is up to 45 seconds. With Duval now 4.3 behind Hirvonen. In the battle for fourth, Solberg is now just over 6 seconds away from Lappala. The final 2 stages are about to get underway as we saw on day 1. These second passes can be very dirty and slippery. Tony Gardemeister has defied a terrible hold. Another strong display for Suzuki. He begins stage 11 running in 8th place.
Ja oikea roiku 6, pitkä oikea eri kireä,
There's a problem for the Finn here though.
120.
Tony reduced to crawling through the stage.
We don't have fuel pressure. Car is not moving at all.
The fuel pressure problem is solved mid-stage, but after being passed by Brice Terabassi, they lose more time. In all, almost 5 minutes are gone, and he plummets down to 14. P.G. Anderson begins stage 11 in 10th. They could move up following his teammate's misfortune.
Höger 560. Vänster 2 för lång sten inner.
It's more bad news for Suzuki, a classic tour de course off. His line slightly wrong, he clipped the wall on the inside and was sent careering down the bank. A disappointing end to PG's day. He's not getting out of there. Andreas Mikkelsen has had an eventful rally, but missing his start slot because he was busy spectating. This time, it's his driving that lets him down. He misjudges the hairpin.
Cut flat 3 höjre. Flat 4 vänster.
And he's lost his front bumper in the process. A puncture later in the stage also costs him yet more time. Francois Duval, like his teammate, has been given free rein to keep attacking this afternoon. Disappointed. Although the Belgian is beaten by Hirvonen again in stage 11, in 12, a stunning performance finally breaks Loeb's stranglehold on stage wins. Duval claims his first fastest time of the weekend. Hirvonen can take great encouragement from the fact that he's been able to hold off Duval in a straight fight on tarmac.
Oikein hidas kostee. Heti vasen nopea tiukka kostee. 8. Nyt vasen oikein nopea kirralla kostee. 6. Vasen.
Ends the day 4.3 seconds in front of his teammates. Loeb's fans are still out in force. Finally got a chance to make a clean sweep of stage wins, but it's of little consequence now. The Frenchman has had another near-perfect day.
Et droite 122, ferme 90.
With just the 4 stages of day 3 remaining, Sebastian's lead looks untouchable. At the end of day 2, Loeb's dominance is clear, almost a minute ahead of Hirvonen, with Duval 4.3 seconds behind his teammate. Solberg is now 22.4 seconds behind Lappala, while Atkinson, Arda and Tirabassi round off the top 8. Just 1 day to go before Loeb can close out his 4th consecutive victory on home soil. But Loeb thoughts are behind him, waiting for the Frenchman to make the smallest mistake. We're in Corsica for the Tour de Corse. It's the 4th largest island in the Mediterranean, situated just 11 kilometres north of Sardinia, giving it a mixture of Italian and French heritage. The island is a popular holiday destination, and with over 1,000 kilometres of beautiful coastline, it's easy to see why. Corsica is also famous as the birthplace of Napoleon Bonaparte, and here on the rally we have another Frenchman imposing some domination of his own. Day 3 of the Rally de France features 116 kilometres. Today's stages head down to the rugged countryside south of Ajaccio. The 2 repeated tests should not be taken lightly. There is a real sting in the tail, with the longest stage of the rally, the 32 kilometres on Augusta, just started. With the gaps that exist between the top 3, all positions should be safe. But with such long stages to come, there is still danger lurking around every corner. Almost a minute is a very healthy safety margin should be the longest stage of the rally starting us off. Augusta is a bruising way to get things underway on day 3. Again, tricky, narrow village streets to pass through. Hirvonen, the final day's focus, will need to maintain his position with some concentration from the world champion. He's off into Augusta and starts with a 4.3 second advantage over his teammate Francois Duval.
4. Oikein vasen, hidas, tiukka. Aukeaa vähän. Ja oikein tosi hidas menee. 3. Vasen tosi hidas.
Well, what's going on here? I think he whacked a pothole there and that does not sound good. Just when second place looks secure, Mikko has picked up a puncture. He's got no choice but to pull over and change the wheel. It's a disaster for his championship hopes, and if he doesn't get going again quickly, there's even a chance it could all be over in Corsica. He will soon be aware of his teammates' plight.
360 humide, sur gauche 70 humide. Et 25, droite 60 ouvre, pas extérieur.
There is Hirvonen, stranded focus at the side of the road. Francois passes him, and they also move up to second on the leaderboard. Rejoining Hirvonen, he's back on the move, but the Finn has to finish at least 6th to prevent Loeb winning the driver's title today. That means if he's lost much more than 3 minutes here, it could all be over. I think he should be safe. Yes, 2.5 minutes gone. Mikko falls to 5th, and the championship lives on just. At the end of the stage, though, Hirvonen is devastated.
There was a hole in the road which was on the line, but I didn't have it on my notes, so I went over that and had a puncture.
On to stage 14, and suddenly Peter Solberg finds himself
right and 2 left, tightens 1. 1 right plus Arblon, 10 k's to go. 2 left, tightens 1 plus.
Now it's the
Opens Arblon, keeps in the crest, 1 right Arblon.
What is going on out there? As Phil Mills said, there's 10 kilometres of the stage remaining, so he does continue. Over a minute is lost, he falls back to 5th. After the disaster of the previous stage, suddenly Hirvonen finds himself moving back up the leaderboard. He's almost 15 seconds ahead of Solberg. Crucially, there are 2 boards between him and the second place he started the day with, giving the team a chance for team orders.
Do you think there's a likelihood that Malcolm will pull the other 2 forwards behind, promote you to second?
I really hope not. I mean, Francois and Jari-Matti, they have had a really good rally. So I really don't want to do it.
We'll let the penultimate stage run and see exactly what the situation is after then. And then we will look then to, basically try and find the best way to give Mikko still a chance to win the Drivers' Championship, and also we'll look at a way to try and strengthen our possibility on the manufacturers.
When you look at a way, what are you meaning there?
We will look at a system or a plan that will hopefully enable Mikko to finish 2nd, Francois 3rd and Jari 4th.
So Ford have said that if nothing changes in stage 15, they would ask their drivers to manipulate their positions. That's exactly what happens. The only question remains is how they do it, and will they get their maths right. With no change through stage 15, Francois Duval is the first who'll need to drop back. He does it immediately by checking into the final stage 2 minutes early. That means a 2-minute time penalty, which automatically puts Mikko 5 seconds ahead of him.
25, gauche sans raser, faire bosse les demi étroits, sur droite à fond, et 25, droite à fond, entre un piège sur gauche 60.
Rattler, meanwhile, goes into the stage with a lead of over a minute and a half ahead of his regular teammate Hirvonen. He then opts to check into the time control 9 minutes late. With 10 seconds handed out for each minute, that equates to exactly 1 minute and a half in penalties. Well, Jari-Matti is still 1.5 seconds ahead of Mikko, so to ensure he hands Hirvonen the place, he slows before the yellow boards the end of the stage. Solberg will be a frustrated man, having already seen much of his hard work undone with that earlier puncture. But incredibly, he suffers exactly the same fate in stage 16. Another puncture for Petter means Lappala can breathe easy, and the Norwegian only just hangs on to 5th ahead of his teammate. Hirvonen has already told us he's not comfortable moving up in such a manner, which is a noble statement. But when it comes down to staying in the title race, he needs every point he can get. Mikko moves back up to second, but it's not a position he's celebrating. Once again, he's had to rely on the help of his teammates to reach it.
It's been something, yeah, but we had a puncture anyway, so I think we lost the rally over there, but we'll see now what happens in the future.
Loeb's performance, though, was largely his own making. He'll be thankful for his Citroën C4 not missing a beat all weekend, and his pace notes read with precision by Daniel Elena. So this victory was ultimately another masterclass from Sebastian.
100 mètres devant mur, gauche ferme 90, seul long.
It's the 10th victory of the season, equaling his own record from 2005, and he's now just a podium finish away from claiming his 5th consecutive world title.
To win here in Corsica is always a great moment because it's a very nice rally, and this year we really were going much faster than everybody, so it was really a great rally for me and for the team. So yeah, it's 2 more point lead in the championship. Should be 14, I think, with the finish of this stage. So okay, we'll see in Japan.
So the last stage reshuffle means it's back as we were at the start of the day. Hirvonen returns to second for that crucial 8 points. Duval finishes third with Lappala 4th. Loeb's 46th win of his incredible career could be another vital step towards the world title.
Again, a perfect rally for me. Car was perfect and the feeling really good. So we had more speed than the other, so I didn't have to take some big risks to be in front. I had to push, but the feeling was so good that it was okay, and so again another victory.
We still have 23 points in advance for the manufacturers. Seb got 14 for the pilot, only 2 rallies left. We need to be second and fourth in 1 rally to get the boss title.
And Loeb is not the only French Sebastian celebrating this afternoon. His namesake Sebastian Ogier has claimed the Junior World Championship on home soil, driving a Citroën C2. And big things are expected of the 24-year-old.
He did exactly what we asked him to do, and his Junior World Championship. I'm quite sure he did not enjoy his rally, but it was not the problem. The way was to win, to be Junior World Championship, and now I hope in the next years it will be a great pilot for Citroën.
And for claiming the JWRC title in his rookie year, it's Ogier who is handed the Abu Dhabi Spirit of the Rally Award. So after all that, Loeb's victory gives him a 14-point lead over Hirvonen in the Drivers' Championship. Atkinson's 6th place helped him reduce the gap to Sordo, but Lappala is now just 2 behind him. In the manufacturers, Ford reduced the gap to rivals Citroën by 4 points, but with just 2 events to go, they are still 23 adrift of the French team. And next up, the crews head to Japan for the penultimate round of the championship. It's back to gravel, but this time the rally has moved to a new venue, making it a brand new event for everyone. As a full preview, WRC.com. Plus, there's a review of the junior season that ended here in Corsica. There's a continuation of the series looking at the incredible success of the Citroën team. But for now, it's time for Sebastiano to celebrate his record-equaling 10th win of the season, continuing his undefeated run on tarmac for yet another year. After 2 relentless weeks of tarmac action, the crews can finally relax. But not for long. We'll hit Japan in a couple of weeks. We'll see you there.
Wow.